The shield you cannot see is the one that terrifies your enemies the most. Chosen One, that's exactly what's happening right now. They are staring at you in disbelief, whispering questions they can't silence. How are they untouchable? Why do our attacks never land? What is this strange power that surrounds them? Their curiosity has turned into sleepless nights, pacing the floor like prisoners inside their own fear. They once thought you would be easy to break, but the more they pressed, the more they realized there's something invisible keeping you alive, standing tall, and even rising higher. Now imagine this for a moment. Chosen One, your enemies thought they had the perfect plan. Like a group of hunters circling a single target, they aimed every arrow at you. But when they fired, instead of piercing you, those arrows spun mid-air and struck back at them with twice the force. That's why today, the very same people who laughed at you are now covering their wounds, holding their heads in confusion and trembling because they cannot explain what they just witnessed. And here's a fact that no one can deny. When stress, envy, and hatred eat away at someone's body, it shows up in real life. Science has proven that harboring rage and jealousy increases cortisol levels, weakens the immune system, and even accelerates disease. So when your enemies kept pouring poison into their hearts against you, the universe simply made sure they drank from their own cup. That's why they are breaking down, while you're still moving forward, stronger than ever. And thank you, Chosen One, for being here right now. Don't forget to return this energy by pressing the like and subscribe, because spreading this message is not just support, it's part of the mission. You're carrying light, and when you help share it, you're proving that you're part of a force bigger than yourself. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for standing as one of the chosen. But let's come back to the truth at hand. People are shocked by the way you're being protected. They've tried everything, from rumors and sabotage to energy meant to break your spirit, but nothing sticks. Every attempt collapses like a sandcastle swept away by the tide. The more they attack, the more it becomes clear that something unseen is surrounding you, redirecting their malice back onto them. They're left asking the same burning questions. What shields this person? Why do they keep rising when logic says they should have fallen? And Chosen One, this is the beauty of universal law. The universe doesn't play favorites, but it does respond to balance. When someone tries to disrupt that balance by tearing you down unfairly, it flips the script. What they send out returns multiplied. That's why your enemies' plans backfire like grenades exploding in their own hands. They can't explain why accidents suddenly follow them, why finances slip through their fingers, or why their relationships fall apart at the seams. They only know it began the moment they came against you. See, the protection over your life isn't just a shield, it's a mirror. Whatever energy touches you is reflected right back to the sender. That's why they feel haunted. They see your face when they close their eyes. They hear your name in rooms they don't want it spoken, and they replay their attacks, wondering why everything they tried to destroy only left them more destroyed. It's eating at them because they can't find an answer. And humans hate what they can't explain. Chosen One, your very survival is a mystery to them. You shouldn't have made it this far by their calculation, but here you are, and the universe is making sure you're seen, not hidden. That's why they're gossiping, that's why they're inquiring, that's why they're restless. They want to know what force is standing behind you, and the truth is, it isn't about what's behind you, it's about what's within you. The resilience, the endurance, and the unshakable spirit you carry is what they can't match, no matter how many people they gather against you. And so their questions multiply. Who is this person really? Why does everything fail when we move against them? What is protecting them? They'll keep asking, they'll keep doubting, they'll keep fearing, but the answers will never come because the mystery is part of your protection. They don't deserve to know. They'll only witness from a distance how every attempt to trap you becomes the trap that swallows them instead. Chosen One, this is why people are shocked by your protection, and this is why you must keep walking as you are. The universe has made you untouchable to those who wish you harm, and the more they try, the more questions they'll have, with fewer answers to comfort them. Chosen One, before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a moment and feel this energy. People are shocked by the protection around you, and the questions they whisper in the dark are proof that you are walking a rare path. If you've ever felt that force covering you when you should have been broken, then this message is for you. So drop a comment below with the number 777 to seal your place in this conversation. And if you feel called, bless this mission with your support. Every little act, whether it's a like, a share, or a gift, keeps this light moving through the world, fueling a message that enemies wish would stay hidden. Your energy is the reason these truths can reach more souls like you. And trust me, if you are truly chosen, you'll feel the pull to stay with me until the end, because what's coming will confirm why they are restless, why they are panicking, and why the universe will keep shielding you no matter what. So take a breath, Chosen One. Let's dive into it step by step, and let the truth unfold before your very eyes. Number 1. Knives don't come from strangers, they come from the hands you once held. The cruelest wound is not struck by an enemy in the open, but by the friend who smiled while sharpening the blade. Chosen One, this truth cuts deep because you've lived it. The betrayal didn't come from the loud voices outside your circle. It came from the quiet ones who sat at your table, laughed with you, called you family, and pretended their loyalty was unshakable. And yet, while you trusted them with your heart, they were busy carving maps of your weaknesses, marking every vulnerable spot like a hunter sketching the anatomy of prey. They weren't watching you to admire you. They were watching you to find the crack where they could drive in their knife. That's the brutality of betrayal. It isn't an attack from a stranger. It's the destruction plotted in secret by someone you once called safe. Now imagine this, Chosen One. You're walking across a battlefield, but you don't see your enemies in front of you with weapons drawn. Instead, the one walking beside you suddenly turns, pulls back their smile, and reveals the blade they've been hiding the whole time. That's the feeling of betrayal, confusing, disorienting, and devastating, because it rips apart the very foundation of trust you thought was unbreakable. And this is why it hits harder than any outside attack. When enemies strike, you expect it. When friends betray, the universe itself feels shaken. But here's where the story turns. They thought they were clever. They thought you'd never notice. They believed their mask was flawless. Yet betrayal always leaks through. It poisons their tone. It warps their eyes. It slips in their fake laughter that doesn't quite reach the soul. And Chosen One, your intuition, the same gift that made you the one the universe guards, picked up on those signals even before your conscious mind understood what was happening. The unease you felt, those sleepless nights, the subtle chills around their presence, it wasn't paranoia. It was protection, warning you that a knife was being hidden behind a handshake. Let's make it clear. Betrayal doesn't just hurt because of what they did. It hurts because of who did it. You gave them access to your life. You let them close enough to hear your laughter, close enough to see your tears, and they weaponized that intimacy. They wrote down your schedule, not because they cared, but because they needed to know when you were most vulnerable. They asked about your dreams, not to encourage you, but to aim their arrows at them. Every piece of kindness you gave them became a piece of ammunition in their secret war. And yet, chosen one, here you stand, not destroyed, but more dangerous than ever, because their betrayal has forced you into a level of awareness that they will never recover from. And let's not miss this. Betrayal is always rooted in envy. People don't sabotage what they don't feel threatened by. If you were ordinary, if you were forgettable, they wouldn't have wasted their energy shadowing your every move. But you weren't ordinary. You carried light, protection, and the unshakable will to keep moving forward. That's why they betrayed you. Not because you were weak, but because you were too strong. It's envy that drove them. A venom so corrosive, it blinded them into thinking they could outsmart universal law. Here's a fact for you. Studies in psychology show that betrayal from someone close causes a level of trauma similar to physical assault. Your brain struggles to process it because trust is a survival mechanism. We're wired to rely on our inner circle for safety. When that trust is shattered, your body responds with shock, your mind with disbelief, your heart with grief. And yet, chosen one, you transformed that trauma into fuel. They thought their betrayal would weaken you, but instead, it sharpened you. They created a soldier out of a soul they thought they could crush. Now picture this. Betrayal is like setting fire to a house while still standing inside it. They thought they were burning you, but all they did was choke themselves with smoke, scorch their own skin, and leave themselves homeless in the ashes. That's why today, the very ones who betrayed you are restless, uneasy, cursed by their own choices. They can't escape the consequences because betrayal carries a weight the universe never ignores. You can recover from being attacked by strangers, but betraying someone protected is like writing your own downfall with your bare hands. And I know a question rises in your mind, chosen one. Why would someone so close choose betrayal? Why would they risk everything just to destroy me? The answer is brutal, but it's simple. They thought you wouldn't survive. They thought their mask was too convincing. They thought they could strip you down to nothing while smiling in your face. But what they didn't account for is the force surrounding you. Every knife they drove into your back became the key that opened a new door for you. Every trap they set for you became the pit they fell into themselves. That's the irony. Betrayal doesn't break the chosen, it breaks the betrayer. And chosen one, don't forget this truth. People who betray never sleep peacefully again. They see your face in their guilt. They hear your voice in their conscience. They feel the weight of what they did in the silence of the night. You may heal and move on, but they remain shackled to the crime they committed. That's why they're constantly asking questions about you now. Why are they still standing? Why do they keep winning? Why isn't our betrayal enough to finish them? Those questions haunt them because your survival exposes their failure. You survived the sharpest knife, you endured the coldest betrayal, and instead of becoming bitter, you became unshakable. That's what terrifies them the most. They didn't just fail to break you, they made you stronger, smarter, and untouchable. And the universe made sure their betrayal became their curse. So, understand this. Chosen one, betrayal is never the end of your story. It's the beginning of their downfall and your transformation. Let their knives remind you not of your weakness, but of your strength. Let their envy remind you that you are carrying something worth betraying, and let their downfall remind you that the universe will never let treachery go unanswered. They tried to betray you quietly, but now their screams of regret are louder than their whispers of lies ever were. You've won, chosen one, not because you fought them, but because the protection over you turned their betrayal into their own execution. And as they lie restless, asking questions they'll never have answers to, you walk forward, unbothered, untouchable, and chosen. Number 2. When enemies gather, the universe counts their every whisper. Conspiracies don't start with strangers. They begin when cowards need company to hide their weakness. Chosen one, betrayal was already cruel, but what followed made it monstrous. It wasn't just one person plotting in silence, it was a group. Your enemies couldn't stand alone, so they gathered like rats in the dark, hoping their numbers would give them strength. They formed circles, exchanged secrets, and built their schemes as if they were war generals. But the truth? Their army was nothing more than a coalition of fear, envy, and desperation. And the moment they came together, the universe already began counting their every whisper like evidence in a trial. Imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, picture a table in a dimly lit room, the curtains drawn, the air thick with smoke. They lean close, voices lowered, speaking your name as if summoning destruction. They map out strategies, deciding who will play which role in tearing you down. One offers to spread lies, another to watch your movements, another to stab at your resources. To them, it feels powerful. To them, it feels unstoppable. But they don't realize that above their heads, unseen to their eyes, the universe records every word like a court reporter writing down testimony. They thought secrecy made them invisible. In reality, they exposed themselves to the very law they tried to defy. Those who conspire in shadows forget that the universe itself is light. Their plan wasn't original, it was recycled envy wrapped in cowardice. They assumed that if enough voices cursed your name, if enough hands joined against you, they could overwhelm the force protecting you. This is where their arrogance revealed itself. They confused numbers with power. They believed quantity could crush quality. But chosen one, let me tell you, when someone is protected, an entire army of enemies will still fall like dominoes. Numbers mean nothing when the universe has already chosen the outcome. And yet, I know the question rises in your heart, why so many? Why would people who barely know me gather to see me fall? The answer is both brutal and simple. Weakness seeks company. A single envious person feels fragile, but when they find another carrying the same bitterness, they join forces like predators hunting in packs. Their conspiracy wasn't about strategy, it was about validation. They needed each other to believe the lie that they could take you down. Alone, they doubted themselves. Together, they convinced themselves of power. But power built on spite is a fire without oxygen. It burns fast and dies quicker. Now imagine this, chosen one. Think of a spider's web spun in the dark corner of a room. Multiple spiders crawling in, weaving their lines, tightening the threads to trap you. From their perspective, the web looks impossible to escape. But then, the universe intervenes. It sends a storm. A single gust of wind tears down their fragile creation, leaving them scrambling, their legs broken by the very strands they tried to use against you. That's what their conspiracy was, fragile threads that collapsed the moment truth blew through. Conspiracies are the last refuge of the powerless. They thought the universe was blind, but nothing in secret stays hidden. Every meeting they held, every message they exchanged, every smirk they shared when speaking your name. documented in a realm they cannot touch. And when evidence is gathered, sentencing follows. They assumed they were the judges, writing your fate, but they were only defendants, building their own case, walking themselves step by step into a judgment they can't appeal. Here's a fact that burns. History shows us conspiracies have always failed against those protected by higher order. Empires plotted in whispers, rulers schemed in back rooms, but the ones they targeted often rose stronger, while the conspirators were buried by their own designs. That's because universal law is unshakable. No amount of collective hatred can override balance. What they tried wasn't just rebellion against you, chosen one. It was rebellion against the very rules that govern cause and effect. And rebellion against that law always ends in self-destruction. Now imagine this. Picture them sitting in a room, confident, smirking as they toast to your downfall. And then fast forward a few months. One loses their job, another faces a health crisis, another's reputation shatters, another watches their finances vanish. Like dominoes falling, their lives crumble in eerie alignment with the moment they raise their hands against you. They can't connect the dots because denial blinds them. But chosen one, you see it clearly. The conspiracy didn't curse you, it cursed them. Every whisper against you became a chain around their own neck. They believed they were invisible. They believed their plans were airtight. But invisibility is a myth when you stand against someone the universe is invested in. They didn't just fight you. They declared war on balance itself. And balance always restores itself, brutally, decisively, and without apology. And I know another question lingers in your mind. Why didn't the universe stop them from even starting? The answer is this. Because their conspiracy wasn't meant to end you, it was meant to expose them. Had they never moved against you, their true nature might have remained hidden. You might have kept walking with them, thinking they were allies. But the conspiracy forced their masks to fall. They revealed themselves in the act of scheming. And now, chosen one, you're free of illusions, standing sharper and wiser than ever. Think of it like this. Conspiracies are like storms. They rage, they roar, they scatter debris everywhere. But when the storm passes, the sky clears and the air becomes fresher. You didn't just survive their storm. You came out breathing cleaner air, walking with clearer vision, and surrounded by fewer snakes. Their conspiracy became your purification. They planned your destruction, but ended up writing their own obituary. That's the brutal irony. Every whisper, every smirk, every shadow meeting was not a step closer to your fall, but a nail hammered into their own coffin. And chosen one, your survival is the proof. You're still here, rising higher, while they shrink into obscurity, haunted by the sound of their own plotting. So let the truth settle in your heart. The conspiracy wasn't your downfall, it was your unveiling. It exposed enemies pretending to be friends. It revealed cowards who needed crowds to feel strong. And it proved that nothing planned in darkness can stand against someone walking with protection. They built their case, but the universe judged them guilty. And now, chosen one, their whispers echo back as screams of regret, while you walk forward untouched, untouchable, and undeniable. Number 3. When hate fails, they turn to the shadows. When envy can't touch you in daylight, it crawls into the night and feeds on fire and blood. Chosen one, this is how far they went. When gossip, lies and sabotage failed to dent you, they crossed into territories most people would never dare. They thought cruelty wrapped in ritual could succeed where their ordinary schemes had collapsed. They became thieves of your essence, collecting pieces of your life, like criminals gathering evidence for a crime. Hair from your brush, clothes you once wore, photos where your smile shone. They turned these into weapons, as if objects could wound the spirit they could never break face to face. Now imagine this for a moment, a group of bitter souls huddled around